Hey everyone, welcome back to Traffic Jam with Cam. I am excited that you guys are back to listen to another episode, and we got some good stuff in store for you guys today. First of all, life has gotten so busy, which I've been very surprised about, and I posted on the Traffic Jam Instagram that starting this week, or I guess last week, new episodes of this podcast are going to be posted every other Monday. So 2 a month, every other week, every other Monday instead of every single Monday. I am still loving doing podcasts. It's super fun to plan and record and edit, and I'm really enjoying it. It just requires a lot of time every week, and I don't have as much time right now with work as I did when I first started the podcast. So I'm going to be posting every other Monday for now, and once I get more settled in work, I might go back to doing once a week. So this week / last week, I got to give you guys the rundown on what's been going on. So last weekend, Adam and I went to the beach. Oh my gosh, it was amazing and much needed. It was about a 3-hour drive from here. We went to a beach in Delaware, which I'd never been to Delaware before. And if you live in Idaho or like the West Coast, it's like Delaware, I feel like, is one of those states where you like forget that it's a state, especially if you live like on the opposite side of the country. So I didn't know really anything about Delaware, but I did hear once moving here that they had some great beaches. So we were excited to check it out, and it did not disappoint. The weather was actually pretty warm. We went like October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like that weekend, the first weekend in October. And we were a little worried that it was going to be too cold, but the weather is actually pretty nice and the sun was out. We got to do a lot of stuff. So we drove there on Friday, and Adam took the day off of work. So we drove there on a Friday morning, did some stuff on Friday, stayed in an Airbnb on Saturday, or Friday night and Saturday night, and then we left on Sunday. So like just a little weekend trip. We went and walked along the boardwalk, and we tried these delicious fries. We, of course, got ice cream. We found this really cool mini golf place, thanks to the recommendation of a friend that we have here, and it did not disappoint. We were really impressed. It was like an indoor mini golf place, and it had like waterfalls. You went like up these stairs, you walked like over little bridges. There were like sharks and whales and dinosaurs and like all kinds of stuff. I was very pleasantly surprised, and Adam and I were excited to like go mini golfing in the first place too, because that actually was like what we did on our first date. So mini golfing is kind of our little thing. So it was really fun to do that. And that was definitely like the coolest mini golf course that I've ever seen. I'll have to like post some pictures this week on the Traffic Jam Instagram and show you guys, because yeah, it was super fun. We also spent like a big chunk of one of the days just like sitting at the beach and reading, tanning. It was so relaxing. And the last day that we were there, we got up really early at like 6 and went to the beach and watched the sunrise. And oh my gosh, that was so cool. I'll have to post pictures of that too. It was like so amazing. It was much needed, like I said. So I'm just really glad that we found time to go, and the ocean is like totally my happy place. I love like being at the beach, and I wish we could go more often. So it's fun now to know that we live semi-close to one. I mean, definitely closer than one living in Idaho. The day that we were driving back from the beach was also the second day of General Conference, which is kind of a conference that we have with our church where people, well, before COVID, gathered together and listened to some leaders of our church and speakers kind of share their testimonies. They give like short talks, talk about Jesus, talk about the gospel, and it's kind of one weekend every 6 months, so 2 in a year, and it's every April and every October. So if you don't live like close to where the conference is being held, a lot of times you like watch it on TV or you listen to it, and so that's normally what we would do in Idaho, is just listen to it or watch it on TV. But some people would go to like the conference center and like watch the conference live or like be there in person. But since COVID, everybody has to watch it on the TV or like listen to it. And yeah, we're just really lucky that now like at this day everyone has like access to watching it or listening to it somehow. So we were really glad that on our way back from the beach we got to listen to some of the speakers and stuff on YouTube. It was like live streaming on YouTube, which was really cool. And it's just like so refreshing and like nice to hear other people's like testimonies about the Savior and like give these like encouraging messages. And a lot of times you just hear things that you really need to hear and like have questions answered that you might have. So it's a really great time and really great thing to look forward to. And so I'm also excited to go back and listen to the other talks that we missed on Saturday when we were gone. So anyway, that was definitely a highlight. Also, after that, like I pretty much just worked every day this week, and tonight, well, I'm recording this episode on Saturday, but you'll be hearing it on Monday. But tonight, Saturday, Adam and I are going to a Laney concert. Laney is like my favorite band ever. I am so obsessed with them. It's spelled Lany. If you guys want to look them up, you definitely should. Their music just feeds my soul. And I just love them so much. They have amazing music. I went to one of their concerts in Idaho a couple years ago, maybe, before I was in the dental hygiene program. I went to their concert when they came to Boise. It was amazing, and I always like hoped that I would be able to see them again. And I went to that concert like by myself, which I was so proud of myself for going all alone. I wanted to go so bad and had like originally planned going with a friend, but that didn't end up like working out, and I was like, I'm still gonna go to the concert. And I just remember thinking I was so brave and just so excited to see this band that I didn't care, so I went all alone, and I just like had the best time ever. And I remember also thinking though at that time, like, I hope I can go see this band again another time with like a boy, and I can like show them how like great this band is and like enjoy it with like a cute guy. And here we are 2-3 years later, and I get to drag Adam along with me to the Laney concert tonight, and I am really, really excited. Up next, we have the traffic jam of the week. And my traffic jam of the week, I'm just going to get right to it. It is eating sugar every night. No shame if you need a treat every night, because I sure do. But the annoying thing is, lately, whenever I have sugar at night, my stomach hurts for a while afterwards. Is that a sign that I shouldn't be doing that all the time? Maybe. Will I stop doing it? Probably not. I just love having a treat every night. It's like my favorite thing to look forward to. I feel like it's so fun to like cook and make dinner and eat dinner, and then like 5 minutes after we're done eating dinner, I'm just like thinking about what we could have as a treat, or like what could be dessert, and then like looking forward to that, which is fun. It's great. It's fun to have something to look forward to. I have always like had a treat after dinner, pretty much. But yeah, lately my stomach has just been like hurting after eating sugar. And I feel like that's kind of like an obvious thing, but it hasn't always happened, okay? So this is a new thing. And like I said, maybe it's a sign. Maybe I need to take a break. I promise there are some nights where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try like not to eat anything after dinner. And I do, and it's fine. I'm wishing that I had something, but I don't have anything, and then I'm fine. So, you know, we're trying to balance here. It's all about balance, right? Yeah. Okay, people. This week, the theme of the episode is teeth. And before you leave, an unhealthy mouth can lead to poor overall health. So listen up. It's not going to be boring, I promise. First, I'm just going to share some like tips and things you need to know about your mouth. Things that you probably have no idea about. Things that you don't know about your teeth, but that you should know. Then, in the second half, I'm going to answer some common questions that a lot of people have about their teeth and oral health. And it's going to be informative, but it's also going to be, we're going to make it fun. Okay, trust me. So first, these are things that you should know about your mouth, know about teeth that you might not know. Number one, dental hygienists don't just clean teeth. And that is probably from my experience, like what I learned in school, what I heard in school from like teachers and other dental hygienists, that's like the number one pet peeve of a dental hygienist for the most part is like, oh, that's just those are just the people that like clean the teeth, or they just clean teeth. That is definitely not true. First, when you go to the dentist to get a cleaning, it isn't just your teeth being cleaned. It's your gums and also part of your teeth that is covered by your gums. So what most people don't realize is that actually the biggest part of having a healthy mouth isn't having clean teeth, but it's having healthy gums. So yes, teeth can get cavities, but gums can become infected and lead to loss of bone under the gums, the bone that holds your teeth in place. And this is really dangerous because when your gums are infected and start to destroy the bone that's under the gums that holds your teeth in place, that leads to loss of support. And so if you don't have a healthy amount of bone that's holding your teeth in place, you're going to lose your teeth. And that's how so many people end up having to get implants, having to get dentures when they're older, is because their gum disease was not treated for whatever reason, whether on their own terms or misdiagnosed or something like that. If left untreated, that's how you can lose your teeth. And that's a really big reason of why I became a dental hygienist and why I am so interested in teaching people about oral health, is because if you know about that and you know how to treat it and you know how to fix it, and I as a dental hygienist can educate people on that, then people can keep their teeth for a long time and avoid dentures, implants, losing their teeth. And before I started dental hygiene school, I actually didn't realize that working with the gums and diagnosing gum disease or assessing gum health and bone health, I didn't realize that was going to be the biggest part of my job. I also thought before I started school that I would be just cleaning plaque off of teeth, which, yeah, I definitely do that. The reason that we're cleaning the plaque off of the teeth is so that it's not causing irritation to the gums. Isn't that crazy? The moral of that story is that overall dental hygienists assess, so they gather information to determine what your oral health status is. They take Xrays, they detect bone disease, they measure your gum health, they treat gum and bone disease, help with the diagnosis, and educate about prevention. The second thing that you should know about your teeth that you probably don't know is there is always bacteria in your mouth, good and bad. So carbs and sugars, the food that you eat, plus bacteria in the mouth, whether it's good or bad, create acid. So that acidity in the mouth after you eat, drink, have a meal, it can demineralize the teeth and it leaves them susceptible to decay. And so that's why, if you're getting so much sugar exposure, or if you're leaving your mouth in this acidic state, that you're more likely to get cavities. So how do we fix that? One, you can limit exposure time. So reduce the amount of time that your teeth and your mouth are exposed to sugar or acid. So say you're sipping on a soda or like a sugary drink for, over an hour period while you're working. That long exposure time is, that whole hour that you're drinking and a little bit afterwards, it's causing your mouth to be acidic in an acidic environment that whole time. And your teeth that whole time while they're being exposed are more susceptible to cavities and that bad bacteria getting into your teeth because your teeth are not as strong. One good way to reduce exposure time is, if you are going to have a soda, sugary drink, if you're going to eat candy or some kind of sugar, eat or drink that within a 15-minute window. And once you're finished with it, take a little sip of water, swish the water around and spit it out. And what the water will do is help to kind of pull acidity out of your mouth and help your mouth and the saliva in your mouth to kind of go back to its normal pH level, its normal acidity level, so that it can more quickly go back to a balanced state where your teeth aren't as susceptible to decay. The third thing that you need to know about your teeth that you probably don't know is that food, so when you're eating food plus saliva, the saliva that's always in your mouth, food and the saliva together cause biofilm buildup. And biofilm is this soft kind of texture of like food and the bacteria in your mouth and saliva. It's kind of like a white stuff that when it sits on your teeth, the bad bacteria starts to accumulate there. So everybody can have a buildup of biofilm in their mouth because when you're eating and the saliva mixed with that, that's kind of what sticks on your teeth after you eat. And so that's why a lot of times, like after you brush and you fill your teeth with your tongue, it feels a lot smoother. It's because that biofilm is gone. So it's really important to reduce the amount of biofilm on your teeth, but also to reduce the time that it's on your teeth. Biofilm hardens over time, and that's what we don't want to happen, because once it starts to harden, you're not able to remove it anymore with your toothbrush. It's not soft enough for you to remove it with your toothbrush. And that's what we remove with our dental instruments when you come in for a cleaning and an exam every 6 months. It's that hardened biofilm that you weren't able to remove with brushing or flossing. The longer that biofilm sits on your teeth, the more that it irritates your gums, and that's what causes bleeding and inflammation. So that's why we recommend coming to get a dental cleaning every 6 months so that we can remove that biofilm so that your gums won't be too irritated. So if that's left untreated, if the biofilm is not removed, then bacteria will continue to stay around the gums and it will continue to accumulate. And that's what will start the destruction of supporting bone under the gums. And that's how gum disease and bone disease starts. Well, how do we fix this, you might ask? First, you need to come for a cleaning every 6 months. Even if it's been longer than 6 months for you since you last had a cleaning, that is okay. Still come. I actually have seen a ton of patients lately that have not had a cleaning since before COVID, which is totally understandable. A lot of people didn't feel comfortable going to a dental office or having a dental professional working in their mouth when there's a pandemic going on. And a lot of offices, like including mine, have had to implement a lot of precautions, and so a lot of people are coming back now that haven't been in a year and a half. My point is, even if it's been a while, still come. It's just so important to get that hardened biofilm removed from under your gums so that you don't get gum disease. The other thing you can do to help reduce biofilm and prevent gum disease is brushing 2 times daily, so morning and night. This reduces the amount of biofilm in your mouth, and the really cool thing is that it's like totally up to you. So, we as dental hygienists see you only every 6 months, but all that time in between cleanings, it's totally up to you how healthy your mouth is. So brushing morning and night means that you will have less biofilm, which means that less of that will harden on your teeth, and you'll have less that needs to be removed when you come every 6 months for a cleaning, and your gums will be happier. With biofilm, if it stays on the teeth for more than about 12 hours, it will start to harden, and then that's when you can't get it off with your toothbrush. So that's why it's actually recommended to brush morning and night, is because those 2 times that you're brushing are about 12 hours apart, which will help prevent that from hardening so that you're able to get the biofilm off with your toothbrush. The third thing you can do to prevent gum disease and reduce biofilm in your mouth is flossing 1 time daily with string floss. Your toothbrush bristles cannot reach all the way in between your teeth, right where your teeth contact. So, even if you brush 2 times daily, you will still have inflammation and you will still have gingivitis, which gingivitis is the word for inflammation of the gums. You'll still have that inflammation in between your teeth because biofilm will have hardened in between your teeth. Flossing every day will actually also help prevent cavities, because most cavities start in between the teeth. This happens because food and bad bacteria get stuck in there and it eats away at the tooth. So really, if you want to significantly reduce the amount of cavities that you get over your life and also prevent gum disease, what you need to do is go to the dentist every 6 months to get a cleaning, brush morning and night 2 times a day for 2 minutes, and floss 1 time daily. All right, the last thing that I have for you that you might not know about your teeth that you should know is that it is recommended to wear your retainer for life. This is not going to make very many people happy. I don't know who is going to be happy about this. I'm not happy about it. If you had orthodontics, so if you had braces, if you had Invisalign, wear your retainer every night forever. I know this is super annoying. It stinks. But your teeth are not going to stay straight if you do not wear your retainer. And the sucky thing about this is that, if you don't wear your retainer, your teeth are going to move. So you don't want to have wasted the money that was put into straightening your teeth. You just don't want that to go to waste. But also, a lot of times teeth are aligned not just for like cosmetic purposes, but also for health reasons. So when you do get braces or have your teeth aligned in some way, a lot of times it's to reduce inflammation, because crowded teeth or teeth that are misaligned can actually cause the gums to be more puffy because your teeth are crowded. And your teeth can also have to be aligned because the way that they might bite together at one point is causing some wear on your teeth. And so, if your top and your bottom teeth, when you bite down, if those four teeth in the front touched down together, your teeth need to be aligned because they shouldn't do that. If those top and bottom teeth in the front are hitting each other every time you chew, those teeth are going to start chipping, they're going to start wearing, and the tops of those teeth are going to kind of slowly wear down and wear away, and you won't have the amount of tooth that you did before. And so it's really important to align teeth in that situation so that your top front teeth have a little bit of space over your bottom teeth, if that makes sense. So those are some of the big reasons why teeth are aligned in the first place. And so if you do have straight teeth right now, when you did have braces or you had Invisalign, it's really important to keep it that way for health reasons. So wearing a retainer every night keeps the teeth aligned, but it also helps to protect from wear. So that wear that I just talked about, that you can have around your front teeth, if your two top and bottom teeth in the front bite together, that's wear. But you also can have wear around your back teeth and your molars if you are, say, clenching and grinding at night. A large percentage of people clench and grind their teeth at night. And so if you do that and you wear a retainer, then that will protect against that. And your teeth won't wear down from night grinding. If you don't have a retainer and you do grind your teeth at night, you should definitely look into getting a night guard, because just like those front teeth, if you're grinding your teeth at night, then the amount of tooth structure that you have is going to continue to wear away, and then eventually you won't have the same amount of tooth biting down, and eventually it might have to be built up. The more it wears down, it will be more prone to cavities, things like that. Okay, first section of the episode done. We talked about things that you probably don't know about your teeth that you should know. This next section that we're going to do is just the most common questions that I hear or get from friends, patients, people asking things about their teeth. And maybe you might have one of these questions too, and your answer will be coming very soon. The first question that I get very often is, should I brush my teeth right after I eat? Like after every meal? And my answer to this is not necessarily. The best thing that you can do after every meal for your mouth is to swish and spit with water after eating. If you brush in the morning, it could be before or after breakfast. It doesn't really matter. That's kind of up to you. And same within the evening. If, after you have dinner and a treat maybe, you can brush right after that, or you can brush, later in the night before you go to bed. As long as it's, once in the morning and once at night, it doesn't really matter that much. You don't need to brush after you eat lunch unless you want to. If you just rinse with some water or with some mouthwash, then that would be beneficial. The one time you absolutely should not brush your teeth right after eating is if you eat acidic foods. So say you just ate a bowl full of fruit, or you just had a glass of orange juice or a glass of soda. Do not brush your teeth right after that. These acidic foods, kind of like I mentioned before, they demineralize your teeth a little bit as you're eating them. And so if you brush right after that, your teeth are still going to be demineralized and it will be too abrasive on your teeth. So wait for the acidity in your mouth to go down. It takes about 20 minutes or so after you eat that for the acidity level in your mouth to go back to its normal balance. So wait for about that time, and then you can brush if you need to. It would be better to just swish with water and then wait until later to brush. The second question or kind of comment, I guess, that I get a lot is, why do I need fluoride, or isn't fluoride like bad for you? And this is super interesting to me because I haven't really heard anything about how fluoride could be bad for you. Like, I know that there are some people that believe that fluoride can lead to like toxicity, but I mean, any vitamin or mineral in too large of amounts can be bad for you. Like, every vitamin that you have, vitamin C, for example, has a toxicity level. Like, you can have too much vitamin C that it makes you sick, that it, can cause stomach ulcers, it can cause vomiting, it can, like, if you have too much or overdose of like any vitamin or mineral, or like even food for that matter, you can have too much of it. So fluoride, the recommended dose of fluoride is very minimal. It's enough to strengthen your teeth, but it's definitely not enough to hurt you. I would recommend getting fluoride every time you go to the dentist because it's a vitamin for your teeth. So fluoride helps with cavity prevention. It strengthens the enamel, which is the outside layer of your teeth, and it protects it against cavities. So some places also have fluoridated water. I know that Idaho does not. I actually don't know if Virginia or DC do. I should find out about that. But anyway, sometimes you can get more fluoride exposure in water. You can also get more fluoride by using toothpaste with fluoride in it, or a fluoride rinse, like a fluoride mouth rinse. Those are really good ways to get fluoride also. The concentration of fluoride in toothpaste or in mouthwash it's not as concentrated as getting like the fluoride varnish when you go to the dentist. So that's why I recommend getting the fluoride varnish, the stuff they like paint on your teeth at the dentist every time, because that has a stronger concentration that will do better at keeping the teeth strong. But if you're looking for toothpaste or mouth rinse at the store, check the ingredients and look to see if there is fluoride as an ingredient in those things, and I would get it. I think it's good to get fluoride exposure. Your teeth will be stronger because of it, and in the recommended amounts here, in the recommended amounts of brushing your teeth with it and getting a varnish once every 6 months is not going to lead to any fluoride toxicity. The third question or concern that I get very often is, why are my teeth so sensitive? And this is a problem that is pretty common. And sometimes teeth can just be sensitive and there's not a reason why. And that's kind of annoying, kind of frustrating that sometimes there's just not an answer for it. But a lot of times people that have sensitivity, that I see, the teeth are sensitive near the gum line, and this is due to recession. So recession is when your gums recede or move to expose more of your tooth. So there are various things that cause this, but the two main things that I've seen that can cause your gums to recede or move up to expose more of your tooth are grinding your teeth at night, and also aggressive toothbrushing. So we talked about clenching and grinding. When you're clenching your teeth together, you're grinding your teeth together at night. That's causing your teeth to kind of subtly move around, and that can cause the gum to recede. Aggressive toothbrushing, though, I've learned is a huge problem that a lot of people don't know about or realize that they're doing. So a lot of people just think that when you brush your teeth to keep them really clean, you need to scrub. Maybe you need to use a lot of pressure. You need to brush really aggressively. And that is definitely what you should not do. You should use very light pressure when you brush, and you should brush kind of slowly in circles and angled towards the gum line. So this will help to remove biofilm and also clean along the gum line. You should be brushing your gums as well as brushing your teeth. but very gently and with very light pressure. So if you find or notice that you are doing this, one trick that can help you is switching to your non-dominant hand. Brush with your opposite hand that you usually brush with. It'll feel kind of weird at first, but it also is a good way to see, oh yeah, I think I'm brushing way too rough with my dominant hand. So you can try that. Another thing that can help with this is electric toothbrushes. Electric toothbrushes actually generally do a better clean than manual toothbrushes do. So for a lot of patients that have issues with their gums, that have a lot of inflammation or a lot of biofilm, I do recommend electric toothbrushes because that will significantly help to minimize that, just due to the, little vibrations and movements that electric toothbrushes do. A lot of electric brushes actually buzz at you if you are brushing too aggressively or if you're putting too much pressure on. And so that's another really good tool for if you are an aggressive brusher, you do have some recession. Using an electric brush would be really helpful for this because it will, buzz or beep at you if you're putting too much pressure on, and it will help you to brush a little bit more gently. Also, if you do have sensitive teeth right now and you're using an electric brush and you're, brushing with really light pressure, try using Sensodyne toothpaste. And sometimes it helps right away, sometimes it takes a bit, but if you start to use it more over time, it will help to desensitize those areas of the tooth that are exposed due to the recession. And that will help your teeth to be less sensitive to cold, hot, toothbrush bristles. That can sometimes happen too. The reason that recession causes sensitivity is because when the gums move up and more of the tooth is exposed, a lot of times it's the root surface of the tooth that's exposed. And so when your gums are at a normal, healthy level, none of your roots should be exposed at all. It should just be the crown of your tooth that you can see. And so when the gums move and recession happens and the more of your tooth is exposed, some of that root surface of the tooth is exposed, and that's much, much more sensitive than just the crown of your tooth. Question number 4. I get this a lot. People say, I'm nervous about radiation exposure. Why do I need to get Xrays once a year? And I can definitely understand this concern too. I know that, radiation is a big deal. It's something that people are worried about, and it's something that I didn't know much about before going to school. And I'm so grateful we had a radiology class, and I've been able to read a lot about radiation exposure, how to limit your exposure, how to work with radiation in a safe way. And I've learned that digital X-rays, so the X-rays that we have now, have significantly less radiation than the film X-rays that dentists used to use. So this is really interesting to me. I learned that one set of bite wing X-rays every year. So bite wing X-rays are the ones that you bite down on the tab on both sides of your mouth, and you usually get 2 on each side taken, and sometimes 2 in the front. We recommend taking those about once every year so that we can check to make sure bone levels are healthy. It really helps us look for cavities. That's the best way that we can see if there is a cavity in your teeth, because we're able to see in between your teeth. So one set of these bite wing X-rays every year is about as much radiation as you get flying on a plane from New York to LA, or as much radiation as you would get watching TV for a year. So it's a very minimal amount and kind of a normal amount of the kind of radiation you would get over a year. And really X-rays are the best way to detect cavities. And when we're able to find cavities when they're small, we can fill them, and they'll be just small fillings before they get too big, because if cavities are left untreated, they will continue to grow and spread. And then if they get into the root, into the nerve of the tooth can be damaged. You can need a root canal. It can lead to infection that can go into your bloodstream it can end up in losing the tooth. So taking X-rays every year is the best way for us to detect cavities when they're small, so that we're able to fill them and fix them before they get any bigger. Number 5, the last question that I get pretty often is people will say, I brush my teeth 2 times every day. Why do I still have gingivitis, or why do I still have inflammation? And people, along with that, kind of all ask, why do my gums bleed when I floss? So to answer the first question about, even if you brush every day, why would you still have inflammation? My answer to that is toothbrush technique. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you're brushing just back and forth, you are only getting the crown of your tooth, or you're only getting where your teeth touch together. You're not brushing your gums enough. So the recommended technique, toothbrushing technique, is to brush at a 45-degree angle in circular motions. And this sounds very specific, but this is the best way to remove biofilm from around your teeth, along your gums, stimulate the gums, and keep them healthy. So brush at a 45-degree angle. That means the toothbrush bristles are angled towards right where your gum meets the tooth, so along your gum line. And you should use really light pressure, like I said before, and circular motions, and kind of go slowly. And this will help to reduce biofilm, but also to not be so abrasive that it causes recession or gum problems. Another thing that might be an issue is if your toothbrush head is too old. So we recommend changing your toothbrush head or new toothbrush every 3 months, or when the bristles start to kind of splay out. Like I said before, electric brushes do a better clean. And so if you find that you are using a manual brush and you are just brushing religiously, you're good at brushing morning and night, you are brushing for a whole 2 minutes, but you still have inflammation along your gum line, you should try switching to an electric brush. And a lot of times you'll see that inflammation reduce. Lastly, gums bleed when they're irritated. So about the second part of the question, why do my gums bleed when I floss? If you don't floss every day, your gums will not be used to it. And gums bleed in response to the irritant or the plaque being removed. So when your gums aren't used to being flossed, they're going to bleed because they're not used to something being down there and touching them, but also they'll bleed in response to the plaque being removed. So like when you floss and the plaque or biofilm is removed, then the pressure on your gums will be released, and that will cause bleeding. Moral of the story for these questions is rinse with some water after you eat or drink acidic foods. Fluoride is good. You should get fluoride every time you go to the dentist to help your teeth be really strong. If your teeth are sensitive, use Sensodyne and reduce your aggressive toothbrushing. It's good to have Xrays once a year so that your dentist and dental hygienist can check to make sure you don't have any cavities. And brush at a 45-degree angle along your gums and floss every day. You will be happy that you started the habit now. It will save you a lot of dental work in the future. And that's about it, you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope it was informative and also slightly entertaining. From now on, I'll be posting new episodes every other Monday, and you could still message me on Instagram for episode requests, questions, send me more teeth questions. I love to answer them. And also check out my Instagram this week to look at pictures of the beach. I post pictures every week going along with the theme of every episode, so definitely check that out. Thanks for listening to Traffic Jam, and don't worry, you're not the only one who finishes dinner already thinking about the pumpkin chocolate chip cookies on the counter. Okay, bye.